Hi YouTube, it's Joe again. It's Sunday afternoon. I went out to the boot sale this morning and then had some things to do at church in the morning and other bits and pieces. So just got in now and just sort of laying out everything that I've got and just having a sort of checking it, giving it the once over, and just thought I'd show you what I picked up. It was again a really productive morning. The boot sale I go to on the Sunday morning is massive. I mean, I had to go back to the car and drop stuff off once, and it was just, yeah, there was just loads and loads and loads of stuff there again, and I didn't even sort of do it properly because I was sort of, yeah, you sort of lose track of what's going on, and I think I'd spent about 100, I spent about 110 quid, and I'd only been in there for a few minutes, so I sort of was a bit paranoid that I was going to spend all my money because I'll show you what I picked up, but yeah, it was a really good morning again. I'll start off with this main lot. This is basically the first thing I saw was this. Basically, this family had this big box of Duplo, and they had these vehicles out in like a separate sort of tray, and then everything else was just sort of all in the bundle. And I could see this the big green base plate there, and I asked them what they wanted for it, and they said they wanted 35 quid for it all. And I said, oh, would you take, I thought, I looked at it and I could see the green base plate and I was working that out in my head. And I know this Intelli train stuff is worth a ton as well. So I said, will you take 30? And they said, oh, no, it's got to be 35. It's quite early. So I said, no, I'll take it 35 quid. And what there is in here, I mean, things to look out for with Duplo stuff is these trains particularly, they do have a bit of ink, someone's written on them, but I can just get that off with nail varnish remover. But these trains, I won't press the button because it has got batteries and I've tested it, but you press the buttons and they basically just run around the tracks by themselves, and there's a couple of those in there. Now these aren't the top end ones, but these still go for about 25 quid by themselves, just the trains, so that was great. And then all this, there's a bridge here, you can see that there, that goes for about 20 to 25 quid. All this train track stuff, there's just loads of value in all of that, and then there's all the other bits and pieces. In terms of the figures, there's some quite cool little figures in there. What I tend to do with figures is if they're part of a set, I'll obviously put them in the set and make them up. And then if they're sort of workmen or stuff like this, I'll include them in a bundle. But any which are like, just look like they could just be family people, like this granny and this bloke, these two kids, I tend to keep those separate and then make up family bundles of like a mum, a dad, and then two kids, a boy and a girl, and then if you've got them, the granny and the granddad as well, and you can make really good money selling them that way. But just looking through this Duplo as well, I can see that there's a couple of other, there's this piece here, which is either a zoo piece, or I could recognise it from the other bits I had in here. It's from the Stone Quarry set, I think. And I've got nearly, I'm sure all the bits for that are there, so I'll make that one up. And then here, there's some really nice cars. There's the Sheriff, and there's Steve McQueen, or Lightning McQueen, not Steve McQueen. And yeah, I think that's called, I can't remember what that's called, that set. It's something like their Road Trip or something like that. I can't remember, but those three guys all come from a set. And there's not much more to that set, actually, than those and a few sort of bits, like a pit stop set or something like that. So I'll make that up and sell that. And then the rest of it, all that's in there, I'll just bundle it up. So, yeah, for 35 quid, that's an absolute winner. Yeah, quite a bit of work to sort of shift and sort it all out. But, yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. Duplo always sells really well. And then here I picked up these SingStar mics for 2 quid, and then these ones were 3 quid, but they were boxed, and they also came with the Take That game, which I've got over here. This demo disc is one to look out for on the PS1. It's not brilliant, but you can sell it by itself, and that was just 50p, so I had that. These I've not had before. I don't buy a lot of mugs and stuff like this just because I find it's really difficult to sell, and it's quite yeah, it's a bit tricky to pack, but these were 20p each, these Toblerone mugs. They've got a nice shape to them, obviously replicating the Toblerone chocolate bar shape. So yeah, I'll sell those as a pair and probably get about a tenner for them, so that's quite nice. I'll do the media stuff next. Media, picked up this Poison's Greatest Hits for 50p. Not a huge amount of money in it, but about 4 quid. I don't know enough about CDs to sort of be able to look through them, but any sort of greatest hits and stuff like this, I just took a chance on that, and yeah, it turns out you can sell it for about 4 or 5 quid by itself. A couple of PS1 games off one person. They had a bundle, a PS1 bundle, and they wanted 10 quid for it, but I didn't want it again. It's just too much hassle, but I just cherry picked 2 sort of quite nice games from it, Medieval and Oddworld. Medieval 1 and 2 you can do together. Oddworld and Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus you can do well quite nicely. That's Abe's Odyssey there. So that was great. Somebody had some PS3 games, and I picked a couple up. They were £1 each. Ratchet and Clank. It's not a great game money wise, sort of like £5 in it. And then this Warhawk, I mistook this for another game. There's not really any money in it. I'll probably just get my money back on those. But the thing that did irritate me about this situation was there was a guy there, and he was looking at them as well over my shoulder, sort of thing. And we were both sort of looking through them, and he picked up a few quite nice games and all this. It was quite an elderly lady who was sort of selling these, so I don't think she really knew exactly what they were, what the value was. You know, and he picked up like 5 or 6 quite similar to these, not great amount of money in them, but you know, and she was only asking £1 each for them, and he's got 6 in his hand, and he's like, oh, would you take £3 on them, or would you take £4? And I just think, just pay the lady £6. You know what I mean? It's, oh well, it just seemed funny. It just seemed really funny that he clearly knew that they were real steal at £1, but he was, you know, still bargaining away. But there we go. Picked up another couple of I picked this up for £1. I've got one of these listed at the moment. It's not sold, so, but it's just an easy, just sort of add that to the listing. Command and Conquer 4, not a huge amount in it, maybe about £6. Take that. That came with the other bundle that I picked up, but just not the bundle, the other SingStar mics. Ratchet and Clank Lock and Loaded, paid £1 for that. I like to bundle all those up together. This was the other game I paid £1 for as well. Galactic Civilizations goes for about £8 to £10. That was a total punt. I just guessed on that. It just looked expensive. I know that sounds really weird, but I just felt for £1 I'd have that. And then 4 PS2 games, 50p each on these. The Incredibles and the Incredibles Rise of Underminer. Not particularly good games, but for £1 I'll just do those together as a bundle. And then Power Rangers Dino Thunder, which I've sold a copy of this for I think £10 last. About a couple of weeks ago, like £9-10, so that was a good one. And then Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly. These Spyro games on the PS2 not as popular as the PS1 ones, but still a bit of money in them. Now, the main thing that I picked up, the other thing I spent, so I spent £35 on all this Duplo, and then the next thing I spent a load of money on was this lady had loads of like really nice jeans. She's like Eastern European lady, and she just had like really posh, really decent jeans. And I just looked through them, and I just asked her how much she wanted for them. And she said, oh, you know, sort of 12, 10, £8, depending on them. So I'll show you what I pulled out. I didn't pull those out initially, actually. They're all diesel jeans, and they're all brand new. When I say brand new, I mean, I don't think they've been worn. They've not been washed. The labels are like absolutely mint in here. And this new Faulkner, these new Faulkner, this style is really new style. These are all really current ones. And these go for like sort of £70, these jeans. Really nice pair of Vicar jeans as well. Just really quality. These are like, I say, they're like brand new. Some of them have got distressing and marks on them because that's how they come new. That's just how they're sold. But yeah, really nice pair here as well. These are the Larkies, I think. Yeah, the DNA Larkies. Sorry about that, I'd filled my camera memory up. I was just saying, this is a really nice pair of Larky jeans. You can see 884F stretch, and all these jeans were sort of waist 34, leg 32, waist 36, leg 32, so really good sizes to sell. So that was them. These ones, these Vickers again, and a couple of pairs of these Timmons, waist 36, leg 32, waist 34, leg 32. So these were just all really quality jeans, you know, sort of £60, £70 plus jeans. I mean, they cost over £100 when they're new. So I pulled out 5 pairs that I saw initially, and I sort of managed to get them for £40. So I paid £8 on each pair, and then I added these. I saw these ones a bit later on, these Larkies, and she didn't have any change by that stage. So she was only going to take a tenner for those ones, but I paid a tenner for those, and then I came back, or the last pair I picked up off her were these Gant Jasons, and I sold a pair not even in as good a condition as this for £35 a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, just really pleased. I spent like, what did I spend, £40, £50, £58 on all those jeans there, and I make that back on probably one of those pairs of jeans alone. So that was an absolute result. Yeah, I've never seen that many diesel jeans off one seller. I don't know where she got them from. Again, it just seems a bit strange that someone turns up with 7, 8 brand new pairs of diesel jeans, but you know, don't ask any questions. Picked up these hot wires. I've got a set of these already on the go. I sold one. I think I sold a couple of sets of these in the past near Christmas, but that was £2 and it's all complete. I've just checked it inside, and those go for, well, before Christmas they were going for about 45, 50. About £40, yeah, even up to 45. Now they're sort of not shifting at sort of 30, so I'll probably just lower the price and then just double up the listing. But yeah, really happy with that for £2. And then lastly, just a number of trainers again. These were great. These are the sort of the female Converse, or Converse Lights, or Slims, I think they call them. That's what I put in my listings. And they sell really well, and they're both size 5, good condition, and they were £1.50 each, so that was great. These Nike Air Max, they were £1. They're not in brilliant condition. They're not terrible. I can clean all that off. The only thing is they're missing the inner soles, so that's slightly annoying, but for £1 they were a bargain. These leather Converse, these white ones, I've sold 2 pairs of the black leather ones. These are actually my size, and I might keep them because they've got a bit of wear in the heels. Yeah, I'll see. I might keep those. They're quite nice. They're size 9. They were £2. These kickers, they were £2 as well. They got a little bit of wear to the toe caps, but £2 on those. You should be able to make a bit of money on these. These I actually picked up from a charity shop on Saturday afternoon. The charity shop had a £1 sale on everything, so I picked up a really nice pair of Puma suedes. I'd seen these in there. They'd had them in there at like £10, and they knocked them down to a £5, and I still just couldn't really be bothered. And then when they were £1, I thought I'd have them. And I said to the lady in the charity shop, I said, "Oh, can you just take £2? I'll give you £2 for them." She's like, "No, they're £1. You've got to have them for £1." So yeah, I took them for £1. I should have taken them for £1 and then just put £1 in the donation box, so I got my point across. But yeah, that was what they were. And then a couple of pairs of Air Force Ones, same old, reasonable condition. I'll have to tidy those up a little bit. They were a couple of quid. These were £2 as well. And then these white Converse high tops, size 5, they're really good condition, and they were £4. So yeah, all in all, busy morning, loads to get on with again. Really pleased with all the diesel jeans. I mean, it's not a brilliant time to be selling jeans in the summer, but they do still seem to sell reasonably consistently throughout the year. The only other thing to mention, it was a really funny thing that happened. There was this board game that caught my eye. It was called, I need to remember, Abandon the Ship. It's a game based around the sort of Titanic by Ideal Games. And I saw it and it caught my eye straight away, and I seem to remember it from seeing it somewhere, but I just double checked it. And they sell for about sort of like £50 top end, sort of 50, £60 top end, you know, sort of 30, 35, 40. So it's like it's a really good game to have. But this one that they had was absolutely battered. It was sort of ripped, the box was all ripped and loads of damage on it. And I went over and I sort of picked it up and put it on a table and opened it. And as soon as I opened it, they'd got in there, I think Tom, the English picker, had mentioned people who do this. They printed out some like eBay, like previously like sold, or not even sold listings, but just previously priced listings, and there was one in there for like 120 quid, but it hadn't sold at that price. That was just what they were pricing it at. And so I said to the lady, I thought, well, maybe in the off chance that wasn't theirs, that was already in there and they hadn't noticed it. I said, "How much for the game?" And she goes, £70. And it's just laughable. There's just none that have sold in the last sort of like years for £70 on eBay, and it's just funny when sellers do that. I don't really get it, but there we go. One other thing just to say a quick thank you to, I think, Kane Franklin. He did a little video about the match attacks, just the backs of those. Anybody who's been picking those up, just so you can recognise the year that your match attacks are from, and a little bit of information in there. So yeah, if you want to Google that or find that video, that was quite helpful. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to do that, Kane. That's much appreciated. Anyway, guys, I hope you've had a good weekend and you picked up a few bits and pieces at the boot sale. So I've got loads to be getting on with as always. And yeah, I will try and do that. I might not be able to do quite as many videos in the next few weeks. Got relatives and people coming down, and I just need to spend a bit more time photographing and listing. But there we go. Anyway, hope you're well and speak soon. Cheers. Hi YouTube, I just thought I'd do a quick follow-up video today in regards to that Duplo that I picked up. I spent £35 on a big box of Duplo, and I've just gone through it this afternoon, about an hour or so, just over, and I've managed to do really well actually. It's basically got a number of sets which were in it, which has been really good. So I've just parted it all out. I identified a few of the key bits and then just made the sets up out of it. So it's got this sort of deluxe train starter set, and it's all complete here with its track, and that basically goes for about £30 to £35. It's got the Max truck stop or whatever it was called, that one there from Disney's Cars, and that goes again similar price, £30-35. So then got this IntelliTrain bridge, and that one, believe it or not, just for the bridge itself, is going again for about, someone sold one for about £35. It goes for about, yeah, £30 to £35. So those three, yeah, all in that sort of price bracket. This one at the back here, this is the stonemasons or whatever, the stone quarry they call this one, and that's all complete. There's a few extra bricks I've chucked in there as well just to make it a bit more interesting. And yeah, and that's even that one goes for a little bit more. That one's sort of 35 to 40. And then probably the most expensive set here is another one of these IntelliTrain deluxe sets, and this one goes for about 50 to 60 quid. This one's almost complete. The only thing is this plate here, it should be stone grey, it should be this colour, but it's that colour. And then one of these red bricks here, these are sort of double thickness bricks, it's missing one of those and I had to make it up with 2 individual bricks, but I can't really see that deterring from the value at all. And then I've got these 2 points, they're from a set, that goes for about a tenner, just these 2. These big plates go for about 12 to 15, and then I've got 18 straight track and 6 round track, and you can get about £1 a piece on your track, give or take, so it's probably about another 25 quid's there worth there. And then I've just got a few bricks left, hardly anything actually. Yeah, pretty much all got used up, so whoever owned this obviously kept it really well and not lost much and kept it all really nice. That's fantastic. So it just goes to show if a bit of work, rather than sort of just maybe parting out a few bits and then just selling it as a big bundle, you can actually get sort of much better. I was looking sort of bottom end, this is with free postage and not taking off the fees, but the £35 spend, bottom end will be about 220 quid. So yeah, and I might even get a bit more than that. So, and a lot of it will probably go overseas. A lot of Duplo I find goes to Australia if it's not too heavy. So yeah, I might make a bit more on top of that because I won't be losing it on postage. So yeah, it just goes to show if you can identify some key bits out of your Duplo, they've all got part numbers, type those into Google, then look and there's links and it will show you what sets it's in, and just by clicking on those images you can get a rough idea of what sets you've got. I obviously realised that I didn't have, this part wasn't part of a zoo set, it was obviously part of this construction set, and likewise a few of these other bits, you know, this, you know, it just helps you realise what sets you've got, and then you can try and make them up. If it looks like you've got the pieces to do that, you know, go ahead, make them up. It's more money in completed sets. If it looks like you've got all sorts and it's just going to be too difficult, don't worry about it. But I say that's how you can stretch the money and make it go a bit further, rather than doing it as a whole bundle. Try and get some completed sets out of it and sell them like that. Anyway, I hope that's helped a little bit. Yes, but not been the most enjoyable thing to do on a Sunday afternoon, but you know, at least it's done and it should bring in some good money. Cheers guys, speak soon, bye.